Hi, gang. Welcome back to the Kaiser's Battle, SPI or S&T Magazine, 1980. So I've gotten through turns 3 and 4, and I think I'm just now starting to catch the ideal or idea of this game. It just seems like the German units just blow through everything. And of course, their objective is to get over this red line, and even more so, over this red line, I think in towns. Peek at that real quick here. So, German player, he gets 1 victory point of each town hex west of that red line. Okay, all right, so get units across this line into towns, and even better yet, get units off the map. So it's kind of a horse race there. Because, I mean, once they're off, and there's nothing, as long as they go off and they're not isolated, there's nothing the Allies can do. And for the Allies, obviously, to delay them and to not have any the Germans cannot have any Allied units in a field work, which is the snaky looking line, or a redoubt, which is those, so they can't have any units up here. And for divisions that have been moved from the map due to combat loss. Okay, so the Germans haven't lost any divisions yet to combat. I mean, I tried to attack twice with the Brits, and I got kicked back with a loss both times, even though we had better numbers. I tell you, the combat results on this thing is really, really interesting. All right, so it looks to me like as the Germans start to spread, maybe you try to sneak through the pockets and get troops back up here, so they got to come chasing. Now, they do have cavalry. The Brits have a lot of cavalry, so if you use the second movement phase, where you can move double as long as you don't enter a zone of control and you don't start in one or end in one. So, these cavalry units can move 12. Of course, then again, supply, you get screwed up by supply. So this turn 4, they got some decent reinforcements. They got 3 triple stacks over there. A bunch of 6s, a bunch of 4 cavalries, and a bunch of 10s. And they all moved right up in there they might be able to do a decent job in there, but there's really no terrain to defend on up there. You got those hills. So literally it's for the Germans is to race. If they can race and get units off the map, that's 3 points a pop for each unit. The Germans need, for a decisive victory, they need 55 points. So you figure, what's that? 1, 8, 18, 19 units off the board? That's a lot of units to get off the board. Although so I'm thinking what the deal is here is the Brits need to make sure they have a zone of control wall so the Germans just can't run through. The problem is after an attack, if it's the Stoßentruppen, they get to roll a 6-sided dice if they eliminate all of the enemy units. And the Stoßentruppen get to move that number of movement points as advance, and zone of controls don't mean anything. The other ones, the regular infantry units, they get to move half of that. So, I don't know. I mean, the push is going on. We'll see here how the Germans get across this area here. They're pushing hard over here. So probably this next turn, they'll only do a few combats, and the strength of the British units are getting a little bit better, okay? I heard the artillery has not really been all that good yet because I'm not doing much attacking with the Allies, and they only get 8 and 6 anyhow, 8 heavy and 6 or 8 regular and 6 heavy. And the freaking Germans, they get 35 regular and 30 every turn. So they pretty much have, in the mist they can add 1 die roll modifier to every ground attack as long as the artillery's in range. Of course, heavy can shoot anywhere on the board, and the regular can shoot 10 hexes from a headquarters. There's a penalty if you have corps units or you have units from different corps attacking on the same attack. You get a penalty for that, but I haven't had that issue yet. I haven't had the need to do it yet. Let's see what else. The airks come in. I'm using, some probability stuff here to figure out whether or not I'm going to drop gas as the Germans. I didn't really, the first option I had, didn't really have any artillery that could shoot anything in range. And I wasn't going to waste the heavy for that, but now I realize I may have to because I'm not even using the heavy artillery. It's been missed for the game turns 3 and 4, so the air power was cut in half, which means you can't do any. You don't get as much to do observation with. So if the Allies intercept, that reduces it even more. Observation can come from airplanes, or it can come from units on hilltops. And I think it's like a 6 distance hex in the clear, or 6 hexes in the clear, and 3 in the mist. So I haven't had that yet, but I could see that getting ready to happen. So the only difference is with the rolling barrage is you get an additional die roll modifier. So in a mist turn, you can only have 1 for just regular support. But if you have observation, or for regular rolling barrage, you get 1. But if you have observation, you can get 2. So if it's a clear day, you can get 2 for a regular and 3 die roll modifiers for a 1 with observation. Which you figure, come on, these German units are 30s. These stormtroopers are 30s. It's phenomenal, the ratio. So the deal is you roll dice for both the attacker and the defender. You multiply their strength, attack or defense, whatever, by that number. Then you divide the defender's result into the attacker's, and you round down any fraction. And then you take that number and you look at the defender's morale. So if the defender has a morale level of 4, and the quotient you get from that division process is 4 or less, it's a failed attack. And the attacker has to retreat and take a step loss. If it's above that, where it's above the morale, then the defender has to take that many step losses. There's no retreat. They just take that many step losses. And amazingly enough, I've had a few where the defender didn't have to retreat. He took some punishment, but he stayed like right there. He stayed where he was. And then I moved him out on the next turn. But this guy here, he stayed where he was. Of course, he had a stack of 4 units in there. So, okay, not bad. I didn't have a grasp of how this works, but now I'm starting to get the picture on what needs to be done. Like I say, the Allies need to build a zone of control wall to delay. It's only 10 turns, and we're getting ready to start turn 5, and the Germans are, well, they're close to halfway over the map up here in this sector, in the north, but they're about 2/3 of the way to the halfway point down here. And you need to get a lot of units across this thing to get victory points, because the Germans don't get victory points for killing all those Allied units, those British units. And I'm assuming these are probably Americans here, I'm not sure. 1918, I would think so. Hey, maybe Sergeant York is in there and he can save the day. So, and then maybe having the Allies slip behind and try to get in there. But like I said, they got to be in supply or it's useless. But it could cause the Germans to turn around. I mean, if the Allies were going to try to break something up, I would say it's going to be over here. If they can get some more, but they get some more Americans on turn 6 and 7. So, and plus on turn 6 they start getting this variable reinforcement thing. I haven't read that yet, but they roll the dice for reinforcements, variable reinforcements. Maybe they can get some of that mess back they got over there. Okay, but this is fun for a game from 1980. Like I say, it's taken me 4 turns to grasp what the idea is here, and now see if I can employ that. I'm probably going to have the Germans fire some gas in this next one, depending on what the weather's going to be, and hopefully we get clear and get some more air power in here. All right. So let's wrap up turn 4 and get back to you after another couple turns. All right, talk to y'all soon.